Welcome to Caleb's Basketball Pod. As promised, today I'm going to recap all of our Christmas matchups we had. It was a really good Christmas day of games and matchups. But before I get to that, I just want to announce breaking news. The Sacramento Kings have parted ways with head coach Mike Brown. Real quick touch on this. I don't necessarily believe that this is all on Mike Brown, why the Kings are struggling. Mike Brown is a defensive coach. He's known for that since he's been in Sacramento. They've been an offensive team. The defense has never caught up to the offense. This year, the offense is struggling. They are not winning many games in Sacramento. And they gave up a 20-some point lead to the Detroit Pistons last night. Guess that's the final straw, but I don't think it's all to blame on Mike Brown. I don't believe the roster is built that well. There's not a lot of shooting on this team. And DeMar DeRozan's ISOs really slows this offense down, in my opinion, because that's how you get the best out of DeMar DeRozan is the ISOs. And if he's ISOing 20 sometimes a game, it slows the offense down, slows everyone else down a little bit, and the offense is struggling because, again, there's not shooters on this team. There's a shooter or two, but the bench is not great besides Malik Monk. And he's even been put in the starting lineup at multiple points this season. So all around, I just think the Kings need to break everything down and start a rebuild at this point and go from there. Okay, let's recap our Christmas Day matchups. We had the San Antonio Spurs playing at Madison Square Garden. This game was 117-114 New York Knicks victory. Victor Wembanyama had 42 and 18. Which was a huge game. Jeremy Sohan had 21 points, 9 rebounds. Then on the New York side of things, Mikal Bridges had 41 points himself. Jalen Brunson a near triple-double with 27 and 9. Karl-Anthony Towns, 21 and 9 himself. Just huge game from Bridges and Victor Wembanyama. First time that opponents each scored 40 on Christmas since the 60s. So just big game right there. And all in all, this game was what I expected. It was a close game. That New York Knicks offense, even on a not so... 117's decent, but they've been putting up 120, 130. Even on a not great day, they still score 117. They still get the victory. You never know who's going to get going. It's been Towns, it's been OG, it's been Brunson, it's been Bridges. Today it was... Well, on Christmas it was Bridges. And he led them to victory. Hit some big clutch shots in the game towards the end. But I also want to say the San Antonio Spurs showed to me they can compete. They can compete with top teams. They're not there on finishing these games yet, but they're right there. They can compete with them, and that's all they really need. Now we move on to our next game, where we had 105 Minnesota, 99 Dallas in Dallas, where we saw Anthony Edwards go for 26, 8, and 5. We saw Julius Randle go for 23, 10, and 8. Then on the Dallas side of things, we've seen Luka exit early with a calf strain that now we've learned will keep him out for at least a month. That's a big blow to Dallas. We'll get to that in a second. But we saw Kyrie Irving lead a near comeback, a 20-some point comeback, where they made it a game at the end, but Minnesota pulled away and got this 6-point victory. Kyrie Irving, 39 points. No one else even reached 15 on the team for Dallas. But nonetheless, the big news coming out of this game is not really the game. It was a much-needed victory for the Minnesota Timberwolves. The big news coming out of this is Luka Doncic down for at least a month. We've seen Dallas hitting their stride, and starting win games. They were up to top 5 in the West and moving upward. And you have to think that's going to, this injury is going to take them down a little bit. So I don't know where they're going to go from here, but we'll find out. I just think it's not good news for Dallas. I think if they're lucky, they need to stick around that play-in. But the West is competitive. It's going to be tough to stick around that play-in area as is, especially if you lose like 3 or 4 straight, you're below the play-in. Possibly. So we'll see where they end up at. But like I said, huge blow to Dallas. And hopefully this is something that gets the Timberwolves going because they've struggled all season. But this was a big win to go into Dallas for a team that beat you in the conference finals last year and get the victory, no matter if Luka played only a little bit of a quarter. But still, you still got the victory. And hopefully it's a good step for Minnesota moving forward. Next game, this one was a shocker. This one we saw the Philadelphia 76ers go into Boston and beat the NBA champs on Christmas Day 118-114. The Celtics made a huge push at the end, taking it from about 15-point game with 5 minutes left to cutting it down to 3. But we still seen Philly hit for clutch shots at the end to pull away. Tyrese Maxey was huge, including hitting a layup with the shot clock expiring late in the game with a minute left. That nearly sealed the deal for Philly. He had 33, 4, and 12. Joel Embiid had 27 and 9. Caleb Martin had 23 points himself. Paul George still, I don't know if he's struggling with injuries, but 12 points. They need more from him if they want to have a shot of coming back and being at least a top 5 seed in the East. That's a long way off, but you need more from Paul George if you want to do that. On the Boston side of things, we saw Tatum 32 and 15. We've seen Jaylen Brown 23 and 7. No Jrue Holiday again for the second or fourth straight game, and they've lost 2 of 3 now without Jrue Holiday. So just saying, Jrue Holiday does help. He does help change things for Boston. He changes everything for Boston. They started Al Horford, which slows down the lineup a little bit. Al Horford can't get up and down as quick as he used to, but he did put in 17 points. Porzingis only 9, left the game early in the second quarter and did not return with an ankle injury. So we'll see where that goes, and when we get more updates on that, we'll speak on that. Now let's move to what ended up being the game of the day, which was Los Angeles Lakers at Golden State. We saw the Lakers win 115-113. We saw LeBron and Steph Curry duel. LeBron had 31, 4, and 10. But Austin Reeves had a huge triple-double, 26, 10, and 10. Christie added 16 himself. Anthony Davis, again, left early in the game and did not return. Unfortunately, we had a lot of this on Christmas. But LeBron and Reeves still led the Lakers to a Christmas Day W over the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry put in 38. Andrew Wiggins had 21 and 12. Draymond Green only had 3 points. They're going to need a lot more from him. Jonathan Kuminga, 14. Just some empty stats. As in that, I mean, just it's not making much of a difference. You need more than 14 from Kuminga. You need more than 3 from Draymond. If you're Golden State and you want to turn this slump recently that they're on around, you need more from guys like that. Andrew Wiggins had a couple good games recently. He is playing a lot better this season. Steph Curry, 38. Really good. A week or so ago, he had 2 points and did not score a field goal, so he's turning you around after that. But you need more consistency from your stars and even your role players if you're Golden State and you want to turn this around. For the Lakers, we hope it's nothing serious with Anthony Davis. But LeBron and Austin Reeves showed out without Davis, without D'Lo. Huge game for them, and the Lakers are going to need more of that if they want to keep winning and keep this low win streak going that they have. And now let's move on to our last Christmas Day game, which was the Denver Nuggets at the Phoenix Suns, where we saw the Denver Nuggets drop this one 100-110 after beating the Suns by 20-some points a couple nights prior. So low odd there. Jokic had 25, 15, and 2. Not even the best game he's ever had. Not even best game in recent memory. He did not play all that well in this game. 25 and 15 is really good, don't get me wrong, but it's not the normal Jokic numbers we're seeing. But at this point, he also could be getting tired. He played 37 minutes in this one. Jamal Murray played 39 and only gave you 13, 6, and 6. Need more from Jamal Murray, but Jamal Murray has been having a kind of low season for him. Only 19 points a game, non-impressive, and they most definitely need someone else or Jamal Murray to turn up a bit if they want to make any impact in the Western Conference, in my opinion. They also need a bench. We saw Aaron Gordon exit this game and not return, and he is out tonight, Friday, with a calf injury against the Cleveland Cavaliers as the Nuggets host the number 1 team in the league. That's not what you want to hear when the number 1 team in the league comes to town. Michael Porter had a pretty good game, 22 points. Russell Westbrook had 17 off the bench. As for the Suns, we had Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal with 27 each. We had Tyus Jones with 17 points he threw in, and Nurkic had 8, 13, and 6. Very impressive game from him. Okay, for this game, I seen just big contribution from Durant and Beal, and you needed every bit of that. No doubt about that. But at the same point, it needs to be consistent. We're seeing Bradley Beal have 20-some one night. We're seeing him have under 10 some nights. Needs more from him. We're seeing Devin Booker miss a few games recently with a groin injury. So we need to get, for the Suns, we need to get Devin Booker back and healthy and go from there. But right now, when one of the big 3 of the Suns is out and not playing, they're struggling, and they're struggling to get any type of victory at all. When that happened, at one point they were 1-9 without Kevin Durant. And you can have that because the roster's good enough to have a better record than 1-9 when Kevin Durant's not playing. You still have Devin Booker, you still have Bradley Beal. So I don't want to hear like, oh, well, they need KD. Yes, you need KD to really be competitive in the Western Conference and have a shot win a championship, but you don't need him to win more than 1 game in 10. So I think they need to improve. They need to change a little bit of their style. You can't really revolve around one man, which we've seen them do with KD, especially late in games. Last season, they were last in the league in fourth quarter scoring. This season, it seems like they've revolved every fourth quarter scoring bit around Kevin Durant, and as you can see, that hurt them in those 10 games where they went 1-9 without KD. So they just need all-around team play, and you have the guys, you have the group to do it, but they need all be on the same page, and I'm not seeing that from the Suns, and there's still maybe a bench, possibly another star. They're looking into Bill for Butler. I don't know if that fixes their problem, but be interested to see if Jimmy Butler can get a little bit more out of Kevin Durant, much like Draymond and Russell Westbrook did, because he has that same style of attitude Jimmy Butler does, where he's just going to tell you how he is. So he may get more out of Kevin Durant, and the Suns may be dangerous if that trade happens. But you get prepped for a trade, and you get prepped for throwing another guy in and seeing like, oh, well, this is supposed to be a really good team. You have to prep for what you have. And with what you have, in my opinion, they're underperforming. And they did last year, and they're doing it this year too. But we'll see how it goes. But right now, I just don't see them as a threat to do anything more than first-round exit in the Western Conference. But like I said, we'll see. The season's still young, and it's been a very fun, competitive season. I will see you all on Monday. And we have some big things coming, some guests coming up. And, yeah, just stay tuned, and also trying to work on getting like a area to do all the podcasts in the same spot, and just working to improve it and improve your visuals of what you're seeing on this pod, and maybe even start just an audio version of it too. But like I said, we'll get there, and we're trying to improve this, and hopefully by episode 100, which is coming up in a few weeks, maybe we'll have that stuff done. We'll see, but I'm working on it. Come back and watch us again on Monday, and I'll see you then.